Hello, thank you for joining us for another episode of The Collection. My name is Carla Bisong, owner of Bisong Art Gallery located in downtown Houston, Texas. And this is a great opportunity for us to speak with art collectors and talk through their journey. Today we have a special treat of speaking with David Anderson. Thank you for joining us, David.
Carla, thanks for coming to my home.
Yes.
Welcome.
Appreciate it. This is amazing. Since COVID, we haven't had a chance to really get comfortable, come into studios, homes, and speak with collectors. So I really appreciate you doing this.
It is an honor to get the party back started.
Great, great. So just tell us a little bit about how you started collecting art.
Absolutely. My art journey definitely starts with two of my big brothers, Ed Ham, Dr. Greg Shannon. It's lucky to have two big brothers to reel me in and say, hey, you know what? Here's something you can invest in that's actually pretty cool. During those days, I was a club promoter. And so Ed and Greg got me on my art collecting journey. My big brother stepped in and saw that I need to be putting some money away. And outside of just putting in banks, they told me about an asset that can appreciate even faster than stocks or bonds. And they told me about art, and they opened me up to the art world. But they helped me into the game at a price point that I could afford. So a friend of mine knew where my headspace was at, knew I was interested in collecting art, knew I wanted to support my own community, knew I wanted to have a piece that was cool and kind of reflected my personality and reflected my lifestyle. So the friend picked up the art piece for me and said, hey, let's get your art collection started. And first piece was by Robert Hodge, a contemporary of mine. I do know it was the right piece to get my collection started because it was what I could afford. It checked all the boxes. It was cool. It was an artist I wanted to grow with. And first piece is actually a Louis Armstrong piece.
And I appreciate you sharing that it was at a price point that you could start with.
Correct.
One urban legend I want to debunk is that you have to be just multimillionaire to collect art. If you can't, go ahead and get a piece that can fit into a modest budget, that Absolutely. You can't collect art at all.
Absolutely. I think you can start collecting art at any price. So
yes.
I think for me, and I think every collector's check boxes are different, right? For me, it is A, how serious is the artist about the art? B, how drawn to the art am I? So if you look at my collection, a lot of it has to do with music or politics or sports or lifestyle.
Right.
It very much reflects my personality and things that I'm interested in and things that I want to inhabit my space with me. But the other part of it, for me as a collector, is also an investment. So when I look at the artists I collect, I'm looking at who's taking their career seriously and how are they investing back into their careers.
Exactly. And I appreciate you sharing with me that you had someone to introduce you into starting in the art scene and with artists. Where are some places you may go just to find out what's happening in the art scene? Because people don't even know where to start.
Yeah, I think you can start with galleries like yours, Bisong Gallery. And the gallery is really cool because it's not a museum. You can just walk in there on your own time. I tell you the best place to find hidden gems are local art shows.
Yes.
So one of the artists I work with, Donkey Boy, hosts a bi-monthly art show. And he's consistently putting on other artists and he's curating the show as well. So you're finding artists from the tender age of 12 all the way to the age of 72. So I think art shows are a great place to start.
And when you meet an artist, you see their album, you see their work, what are some questions that you ask the artist or you want to find out from them?
The obvious is, what inspired you?
Yes.
What is this piece about? Is there something I'm missing? And 9 times out of 10, it's a whole bunch I'm missing.
Yes.
And when I hear the deeper story, also 9 times out of 10, I'm even that more drawn to the piece. When I hear the personal connection of either the art and the artist or the art and the community. Anything that's kind of trackable to build a resume, because me as a collector knows that is what increases the value of their art. That's what other collectors, that's what other institutions are looking at. How do you get into prestigious art shows? And I think it's a healthy balance, right? For the artists I want to collect, I want to know that you can live in the Museum of Fine Arts, Houston, or you can do a mural in Third Ward just because you feel like doing it, or you're going to do a pop-up at Bisong Gallery because that's your friend, or you're going to curate your own group of artists, which luckily the artists I collect and the artists I've befriended and artists I'm fans of, they are really, really good stewards
Yes.
of bringing on the next generation of artists. Like I said, Donkey Boy hosts the Donkey Show, and he's always putting on young artists. Robert Hodge does the same thing with artists that he mentors. The Black and Brown owned galleries that are familiar with are also very, very good at working with up and coming artists and bringing them along, helping them with figuring out what's the pricing, where should they be showing it, etc. So kudos to you and the other galleries doing that.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. You admire how artists are giving back. So any initiatives that I want to give back, I want to help, I want to uplift my community is very important to me.
Right.
And so I also am drawn to artists that think that that's important to them as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, I think we're lucky here in the Houston community to have artists that are also great curators.
Yes. So tell us of some of your favorite pieces. Tell us about the pieces. Why are they your favorites?
Absolutely. I got to start with the Magna Carta of my collection,
Yes.
which is a Severus piece by Robert Hodge. Why does that piece speak to me the loudest? It speaks to Black Caesars. And a lot of us, we've heard that term before. It got coined, I think, in the 70s. But a lot of us don't know there were really African kings that ruled the Roman Empire. I didn't know that until I saw this piece by Hodge. And I knew that I feel in my heart, I am part of this African royalty. So I needed that piece to live with me. And the Contemporary Arts Museum in Houston actually borrowed it for a show before. As a collector, it's a big deal.
Yes.
Because when it's insured, it really does increase the value of that art piece. So if I ever decide to sell it, which I probably won't,
Yes.
it probably could send my son through college.
Yeah. That's amazing. Tell us about the pieces behind us. Everyone's hearing this great information, but they're looking
absolutely. So
what's behind us.
Louis Armstrong here is the first piece in the collection. Early Robert Hodge piece. When I tell people this was a Robert Hodge piece, a lot of people didn't know this was one of his original styles. He's so versatile with his work. He's doing a lot of mixed media now, but this piece includes some gold paint, ink. I think there may even be some pencil on here as well. The room we're sitting in, all the art has some type of sound connotation. This was my second piece in the collection. And this piece speaks to me two reasons. Both artists are friends. Both of them are from my favorite neighborhood in Houston. They're both from Third Ward. So Robert Hodge and Greg Carter, both super duper artists in their own rights who are taking their own journeys as great artists outside of Third Ward and outside of Houston and continue to do great work all over the country, all over the world. This was a piece they collaborated on, and it happens to be the last piece that they worked on together.
You spoke of what you're looking forward to adding to your collection, and we kind of spoke, you have a little interest in photography. So tell us what you might be interested in adding next.
You know, I want to kind of mix it up a little bit. I don't have any photography as part of my collection. I do have some really, really cool coffee table books. One of them is by a local creative director named Georgie. And I have some of his photography in that book, but I'd love for some photography to live on my walls. I think the work that I want specifically would either be some black and white pieces that show the Black and Brown or the urban communities in Houston and what that life is like, or something that's really Houston centric as far as culture, right? So the candy paints, the slabs, etc.
It will happen. It will happen.
Absolutely.
Wonderful.
Absolutely.
Is there any other advice you'd like to give to new art collectors or someone thinking about being an art collector?
You know what? Ask questions. Buy the art. The advice that someone gave me early on is don't overthink the investment piece. Buy pieces of art that you like.
Yes.
And that you can live with. And as much as it is an investment for me, I really am gravitated to the pieces I truly love first, right? So the things that I personally like, I like gold foil. Obviously, I like pieces around culture. Downstairs, I have two different pieces by two different artists showing a Biggie and Pac scenario. It's a Tupac Picasso piece by Donkey Boy. Get something that calls your name and gravitates to you, and try to find out more about that artist. And it really does help if they live in your community.
I appreciate that. I've met new collectors that just hired someone like an art consultant that tells them what to buy, and just say, trust me, just you want this in your collection, I would suggest against that. Get what you love.
Yeah, get what you love.